So I think my voice is clear, right? So I'm just starting again from the previous question, question number 20. So I'm just showing the environmental compensation also, so that you must aware about how the environmental compensation should be done. In slide number 75, I'm just going on 75 only, so that you can have an idea whoever left this environmental compensation, and also for the penalty, because this was already discussed in the previous presentation. For the calculation of environmental compensation, also for the penalty, bank guarantee, etc. So here you must aware about. Here you can see.
We can move now.
Yeah. Okay. 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 No problem. See, here is the formula for environmental compensation. So we have already discussed in the previous presentation, means when we have discussed about violation. So the formula for EC is equal to PI into N into R into S into LF, where PI is the pollution index, N is the number of days of violation, R is the factor in rupees for EC, S is the factor for scale, like large scale, medium scale, small scale, and LF is the location factor, like 1 to 5 million, 5 to 10 million, or more than 10 million. So we have also taken one example to calculate. Here we can see 22.5 crore compensation has been calculated by giving by taking this type of conditions. So that is the formula. And here you can see United India Nation India Insurance Company Limited is the fund manager under the Environment Relief Fund, ERF. And also we have shown, means in different year, different activity. You can see in rupees, in the fine rupees in the lakh has been deposited under ERF. So that is one. Another is about, yeah, it is already answered. For FGD, the question about FGD, if you are going for anything to change, like in the fuel, modification in fuel, or adding the fuel, a change in raw material, change in product mix, increase in pollution load, need then this will need the consent, amendment consent, or amendment in your environmental clearance, whatever is applicable. And what are the steps? So I think we have already shown biodiversity study. For that purpose, we have a training session on ecology biodiversity. If you are if you are having interest, then you can join our online session. That can be taken anytime, there is no time restriction. And fees is very nominal for industry as well as for the students also. So immediately when one can take the session, one can learn about how the biodiversity study can be done. We have shown already the slide for flora and fauna, and for different attributes, different steps are there. And another question, if any industry is not developing the green belt, so what will happen? This will, of course, this can draw a violation, because if it is mentioned in environmental clearance or in your consent, then you have to do, you have to comply those conditions. If you're not complying, that means you are not doing as per the condition given, and you are violating the rule. For that purpose, it can be, because violating somehow, it cannot attract immediately the huge compensation, but somehow when you are going for expansion, if you are going for anything, like in case of environmental clearance, something, in case of when you are going for expansion, then compliance is certified, compliance is required. At that time, this will hinder the means this will create problem. So better, otherwise you can go for the in a change in environmental clearance, if there is means with the a specific reason. When we are doing the presentation of violation, then we have already discussed, means outside the premises, sometimes they can consider your green as green belt. If you do not have adequate space, and the means the vicinity, means area where you are going to develop the green belt or planting the tree, that is very means in the in the vicinity, and you are taking the responsibility for developing, for maintaining, etc., with undertaking, then that can be considered as a green belt. So in that case, you can avoid this type of violation, this type of any nuisance. So that is the thing one. Another question, I think this is the last question. Okay. Yeah, and according to plastic waste rule 2016, particularly a disposal method. So we have already conducted plastic management methods, or we can say on this plastic management rule 2016. Here you can see the main system boundary for means you have to collect at site, because now plastic waste disconnected, I think. Okay, wait a minute. No, it is okay, okay, okay. So here you can see for plastic waste management, first you need to comply the plastic waste management rule 2016. You need to take consent under PW plastic waste management rule 2016, because now it is mandatory. It was enacted, it was released in 2016, but in now in 2020 it is mandatory to take consent under the PWM by all the industry, either they are applicable or not. If it is not applicable, then you have to declare that you are not applicable for the plastic waste management. If you're applicable, then you have to declare how much waste will be generated from packaging, from other processing industry, etc., in transportation. So that waste will be collected by the recyclers, by the processors, by the means TSDF, etc. Then that should be transported in the same manner whatever MSW is doing. Then this goes to the TSDF site. Then this all the things to be done. So for that purpose, we have already one session, online session is there. So if you are interested to learn these things, how the plastic to be done in the means methods of recycling, doing plastic waste management, and how, what type of things are there to manage at the site, sorting out all the things, we have already elaborated in very means elaboration method in one session. So that is also there. You can take training session on that. And another one, I think no more questions that is recorded, means previous questions. And also we have started in internship program. We have already online training session, 3 day session, 1 day session, 2 day session on hazardous waste management, solid hazardous waste management, ABC in EIA, remote sensing 1 week program, 2 week program, and 1 day, 3 day program. Here you can see this is the 6 day program on GIS. The fees is only 2,500, and for student 2,000 rupees. And again, CETPs, wastewater management with reference to CETPs, climate change, environmental sustainability, energy conservation, building code compliances, EIA practices in India and other country like USA, China, UK, Japan, Russia, etc., and basics of land use, land cover mapping, noise mapping, biomedical waste handling and disposal, and many more things are there. More than 75 training sessions we have conducted, and those are available online. If you have like here you can see the list we have presented here. Even for food waste management, effluent generation and treatment in pesticide industry, method validation EIA, technologies for air pollution control system, plastic waste management, all the things already covered. Forest clearance, wildlife clearance, yard clearance, environmental clearance, ecology biodiversity, and instrumental methods in environmental chemical analysis, social impact assessment, land acquisition, etc. So all these things we have already done. Air sampling and also baseline data collection for EIA, QMS, carbon footprint, LCA, etc. These are the things which we have already done. So you can take anyone can take all session, any one session. And now I'm just going to your chat box so that I can check the questions for answering further. So here it is, I think. Okay, so I think you need to again type your question. Otherwise, you can unmute yourself. You can ask the question. We have a very limited time. Up to next 10 minutes, we'll end this session. You can unmute. Otherwise, you can type, because whatever you have typed in the previous one, it was gone because it was disconnected by mistakenly.
So,
Unfortunately.
So I feel members can ask directly by
Yeah,
looking
that is
onto
better.
them.
That is better.
Now we can move to the questions also. All are requested to ask the questions by unmuting themselves.
Hello,
Yeah.
hello. Myself, Dr. S.K. Panda.
G.
Um, actually, I put this question in chat box, but the
Yeah,
session is
it was
disconnected.
gone actually. Yeah, unfortunately. But
Uh,
you can.
Last time also I put this question. This will be a common of interest. Actually, in CPCB during the beginning of 2019, issued one notification stating that EC will be considered as a consent to establish for industries for new industries. So some of the pollution control board accepted that, and some were not accepting. So the matter was something going on. Whether sir you can tell us what is the status now? Whether our Odisha Pollution Control Board, they are accepting. As far as my knowledge is concerned, they have put up to their board, and it was under discussion. And because something are there in EC and something are not there in EC, that is covered in CT also. So those kind of discussions were going on. So whether we are knowing the what is the status, sir? If it is applicable in how many SPCVs in India like that? Any information is there with you?
Yeah. See, for environmental clearance linked with the consent, environmental clearance is deemed to be considered as consent. No CT is required. That is from the CPCB only. And initially, all the means all the as PCBs are not accepting this type of method. But after direction from the MFCC and memorandum has been released for that, when environmental clearance is released, that should be considered, deemed CTE should be considered to that environmental clearance only. That is the correct one. That is fact only. But as for now, it is discretion of the PCB only. Means CPCB has directed to all the SPCB that they can consider and they can not means as per their discretion. If they have to consider, so as per concern of this, nowadays some of the PCB are considering this quest, like in case of Gujarat Pollution Control Board, here
Rajasthan,
as you said in Odisha
Rajasthan.
even they are accepting.
Yeah.
And there is
Uh,
provision at during the environmental clearance, because the main question was the fees for under Air Act on Water Act or EP Act. So for
yeah, yeah,
paying the fees, there is provision at three stages. What three stages?
yeah.
First, if you are having a public hearing, then you can pay at public hearing, during public hearing, because public hearing to be conducted by the
Okay.
PCB only. Then during
Yes,
public
yes.
hearing, you can pay the fees of your Underwater and Air Act, whatever is applicable. Then that because during the CTE only applicable as per the project cost. Because
Correct,
at
correct,
that time there is no means depending on the type of pollution you are generating. So whatever is the
correct.
project cost that can be decided immediately, you can pay the fees to PCB, and when the
Mm.
CT will come with the one liner, one condition that the means they have paid, the client has paid the requisite fees under EP, under Water Act, Air Act, and EP Act. So
Gotcha.
that
Yeah.
EC is considered as deemed CTE. Then consent
Oh,
means construction can be started. But
uh,
this is not aligned even today. Means
okay.
no EC has been granted in such a way that EC has been
Yeah.
written with this line that the client has paid the fees and no CT is
Mm.
required. So
Okay.
what is doing, what the practice is currently from the PCB, separate file
Mm.
means consent, separate consent is required to done after
Yeah.
environmental clearance and also this is not accepted by all the PCB. In case of Haryana, in case of Uttar Pradesh,
Yeah.
many other
Yeah.
PCB. Not I am not means giving name,
They are
but
not accepting. Yes.
many PCB is not accepting this type of practice because
Mm, mm.
major question, major hurdle was the payment of fees for CTE.
Correct. Correct.
So for that purpose
Mm.
only, when money is coming in the picture, then everything
Yes.
is
Yes.
spoiled. So that is
Yes,
actual
yes,
scenario.
correct.
In here in Gujarat, they are accepting, and
Yes,
also we have paid the fees, and that
yes,
means EC has been considered as deemed the CTE, and after that we have not gone for CTE, we have just gone for CCA. So some PCB are doing this type of activity, and that is good. So that because to reduce the time, that should be done, because if you are
yeah,
having a loan, a huge loan from the bank, then interest
yeah,
is of course calculating day by day, so it is
yes,
supposed
yes,
a time wasting process.
correct, correct. Yes, yes.
Any more question, then you can ask
Uh,
by unmuting any other.
हाँ,
Rathoure
thank you,
sir.
thank you.
जी
Hello.
जी जी बोलिए
Hello. Myself Sukadev Sahu.
जी
Actually, my question is that. Hello.
या बोलिए
Yes, yes, audible. बोलिए कौन तो very specifically बोलते हैं
Actually, it is actually our refractory industry going to change the fuel. That means from gas producer to natural gas.
ओके
Actually, ONGC will provide the all the setup. Okay.
ओके ओके
Actually, in this case, actually it is need to take the environment clearance for the gas setup. Is it required environment clearance?
क्वेश्चन में समझ नहीं पाया, व्हाट इज यू आर गोइंग फॉर
Actually,
चेंजिंग द फ्यूल, राइट?
हाँ,
अब
from producer gas to natural gas.
हाँ यस देन व्हाट?
Actually, ये ONGC will provide us gas and set up their gas storage tank here.
ओके ओके
In this case, is it required to take environment clearance for the
No,
storage of
see,
natural gas?
for fuel changing, environment clearance is not required. In that case, you have to go for consent amendment in consent, because the fuel quantity and all the things under Air Act, Water Act, because fuel burning of fuel is attracting Air Act, right? Then immediately you
Okay.
have to change your condition under Air Act. So the change of
Okay.
fuel immediately attract the change in condition of under consent. So first you have to go to the consent. If you have environmental clearance, then you have to change the condition. There is no requirement of environment clearance. There is change in, or we can say the amendment in what fuel in the environment clearance. So that can be done before and after. So first and foremost important thing is to change the consent condition in under Air Act.
Okay. That means to take any city.
CT, yes, yes. Not CT
Okay.
exactly, because आपके पास CCA already होगा. CCA, if CCA is valid, then you have to go for change in CCA for fuel only. If you are going for change in fuel only, there is no change in any other thing. Then consent can be amended. Consent means CCA can
Okay.
be amended immediately.
CTO.
CTO, yeah, CCA CTO is the same one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ashok sir, how many minutes are
Hello.
in your hand now?
So we have more 10 minutes. Means at about 8:15 we'll close the session.
So let us take some more 1 to 2 questions.
Yeah,
Please, ପଚାରନ୍ତୁ ଯାହା ଅଛି.
I think many have written the question in the previous session. So just type. Otherwise, you can unmute yourself. You can ask questions. So that we can take.
We can ask directly by unmuting ourselves.
Hello.
Regarding hello,
Ji.
sir, myself, Dr. S.K. Panda, I have only one suggestion.
Ji.
Now Sukhdev sir was asking now for pollution control board, and you have advised him for CTO. But I think pollution control board will ask for CTE also, because there is a process change. So definitely, as you were saying previously, it is related to money. So they will definitely ask for CTE and whatever.
Yeah, simple thing. If you are
After,
changing your fuel without changing the process, then change in consent. If you are changing the process, then what will happen? So that is the lookout of our process and equipment. Because if you are using coal this time, so different type of equipment we are using. But if immediately we are going to the gas, then what type different type burners are required? Low NOx burner is also required. So
yeah,
for
yeah,
that
yeah, of
purpose,
course.
we need to change in CTE also. That is only they
city.
have to apply for consent.
Yes,
Yeah.
city will be required because last year we changed just some quantity wise. So with no changes in equipment, no changes in fuel, no change in water. Still then they asked for city. After that only they gave the
No,
CTO. Like that they are
as
increasing.
per Air Act or Water Act, if you are not
Yeah,
changing the quantity, then
yeah,
CT is not required. Yeah, this can be happen because I seen some of the PCBs are asking for CT, whether CT
yeah,
is not required in some cases, but they are
yeah.
although they are asking for CT. See, the
Mm.
clear condition has been mentioned. If you are not changing anything, means in term of production capacity, in term of tonnage,
Mm.
like fuel
They are
capacity
changing. They
and
are
the
changing the
process,
raw material. They
then
are changing the
only
raw
yeah,
material.
then changes or amendment in consent is required. But
Excuse me,
if
sir.
they are asking for CT, then also consent means CT is also required
Yes,
because
yes,
they
yes, yes.
are the means monitoring agency. So we have to
Yeah.
comply to PCB first.
Yes,
Sir, I
yes,
think
correct.
there are 4 minutes with us now.
Thank you.
Yeah, 5 minutes, 4 5 minutes are
5 minutes.
there. So if you have any question, then just
So, if
ask.
you have any question, just one more question specifically you can ask before you close the session.
Thank you, Pandya Babu.
Okay. So,
Okay,
now
sir.
this
Thank you.
is.
Okay, thank you. I think no more question.
So,
Otherwise, you can just type your question in the chat box or WhatsApp. I am just typing here the WhatsApp number. It's 9909968953. You can ask your question on WhatsApp number. And tomorrow we have a session on watershed management. I am just sharing one browser here. You can see if you anyone interested for joining the session tomorrow at 7 o'clock on the same platform, the registration fees is 300 only. Here, the understanding of watershed management, recharging calculation, harvesting calculation, how to be done, and what type of regulations are there,
sir,
and
sir,
yeah, program in India.
I have plotted both brochures in.
Okay, great, great, very nice, very nice. Another session on the Sunday for sewage treatment technology, including STP and all technologies, MBBR, SBR, etc. So that will be done. If any person is interested, then they can join. So I think we must bind up. Any more questions? Okay, I think some technical problem with Joshi sir, Patta Joshi sir. There is no voice. Hello. So I am just ending this session. Uh, I think some connectivity problem is there also. What happens? Okay. So thank you very much for the session. Now I am just ending this session. Thank you very much.